Welcome to Backstage with Becca B with special guest Ilda Mason. Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Backstage with Becca B. On this episode, this Panama native was a pro on Dancing with the Stars Panama seasons 1 and 2, has been in regional shows such as A Chorus Line, Hello Dolly, Peter Pan, and more, has toured with Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella and On Your Feet, was a swing in the West Side Story revival on Broadway, and can be seen as Lutz in the critically acclaimed West Side Story directed by Steven Spielberg. Please welcome Ilda Mason. How are you?
Great, how are you?
Fantastic.
Oh, it's so nice to see you.
Nice to see you and meet you virtually.
Yes, yes.
In this still kind of like half virtual, it's like a hybrid world.
Yes, exactly. To me, this is like nice to meet you because this is the world.
Zoom is normal right now. And I feel like most people are like, I'm so over Zoom, but I love Zoom.
Me too. It allows us to like connect with people who are on the other side of the world. 100%.
Exactly. So how have you been? This past year has been, or this past couple years, 3 years, I guess now, going on 3 years, been challenging for most. I mean, it's been both challenging probably and exciting for you.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's 3 years since we did the movie, like, and wow, more since like I sent my first audition for West Side in 2018. My God, like that sounds so far. Yeah, that was it 2019? Yeah. 2018, like in February, sent my first self-tape, got cast a year later, then started rehearsing. We shot during the summer and then started Broadway. It was crazy. It's been an adventure, because it's been a whirlwind because it was so, I remember feeling so like invincible and like, yes, I did it, finally did it, all my dreams are coming true. And then COVID hit. But honestly, I am just so thankful that we are here. I'm here. I was able to see the other side of how, it was very scary and uncertain. It's still very scary and uncertain, but we have more information now. I am so grateful that I was able to then, like, the movie came out, I was able to see it with my parents. That was huge. It's the little things, I think, that we should all just focus on. There's always something to be grateful for.
It is really the little things. And I've been talking to a lot of people on this. You can hear my dog in the background right now rolling around. Oh my God. But I've been talking to a lot of people on this about like how they like had time to go home during the pandemic, had time to be with family during the pandemic. It's the silver lining.
Yeah, absolutely.
A kind of what is happening time.
Yeah, I wasn't able to go home, just my parents live in Panama, and I was here in New York, so like traveling was out of the question.
Yeah.
But last year, then, when things were a little more stable, and not even, I remember that it was my dad's 60th birthday. My sister and I were organizing his party, like at home, and he was still like, "Oh, should we travel? I don't know." Like and I'm so happy that I did end up going and celebrating and doing, because you never know what's gonna happen.
Exactly. It's like live in the now. Can I travel now? Yes. I'll go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So you are from Panama.
I am.
Wow. That's amazing. I love that because I don't think I've interviewed anyone from there.
Oh, cool. I feel very honored.
So first person I've interviewed from there. Growing up, did you always know you wanted to be an entertainer and like sing, dance, act for a living?
I think I found out when I was in high school. I think it was like 10th grade. I did my first ever musical in high school, and it was Grease. We didn't have a musical
Yes.
program. So that was the first ever experience of me like acting, dancing, and singing. And I was hooked. And since then, I just knew that I wanted to do this for a living. I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to, you know, do musical theater, also acting for film, TV. I've always had this, I don't know, this big experience when going to the movie theater. It
Yeah.
like watching the trailers is a huge thing for me. It's like
Goosebumps.
I get goosebumps. Exactly.
Yes.
It's like, oh my God. I feel like not only am I transported to this world they just showed us in a minute and a half, but I also wonder, like, how do they do this? Well, one must it have been to be a part of that, like that type of thing. So that's when it all started.
So when you did Grease in high school, was that like the first time you were really introduced to like you can do everything in theater, like on stage, you can act, sing, dance all at the same time?
Oh yeah, that was my very first, experience doing all three things. It was really eye-opening because you had to like audition, with a song. I didn't even know what to sing. I think I sang A Whole New World, both parts.
Yes.
you know and it was I was just thinking about this, but like I remember it's not because I was like I remember not knowing, like, okay, this is this singing, is this okay. I always dance. That's the first thing that I ever did. I danced ballet, I did it on and off. And I realized actually that I missed it whenever I was not dancing, because I did a lot of other things. I was very fortunate that I was able to explore many other areas of life and things and activities and so I figured out that I missed being on stage. So that was number one. I was like, great, boom, dancing, love it. I love it. I miss it. So I want to do this. Then the singing, I was a little stressed because I had no experience. I had no training, no anything, nothing.
Wow.
But I was like, okay, kind of good. Okay, I think. And I remember, I will never forget this. My, like the things that stick with us,
Yes.
my logic professor, all people, I remember him after seeing Grease. We like performed for like, we did like maybe 2 or 3 performances. That was it. And after he saw it, it was like a Monday and it was his class. And then he came to me, he's like, Ilda, I just want, and he's very serious, taught logic. He was very serious, very respected man. And he was like, Ilda, I just want to congratulate you on your acting. It was superb. And I was like, I remember thinking like, wow. But you know what I thought about? I was like, oh, so then now my singing, why did we do this? Why did I think that?
You
Because,
like overthink.
yeah, exactly. I overthought it. And I know why, because I was self-conscious. I was so unsure if I was doing a good job. So there, a lesson from a young age to not do that. Like what that was a huge compliment on my acting. My acting in Greece.
And stage acting is a whole different game than
Yeah.
like TV acting, film acting, etc. I
Yeah.
feel like if anything, it's even harder to act on stage and get your point across on stage in front of a live audience.
I think they both have their own, technical difficulties, because it's definitely a whole other ball game to then, it's a live performance, a live audience.
Yep.
You are a human. You are not supposed to like just be a robot that's doing the exact same thing every day, but there is consistency that needs to be achieved because the show is frozen, right?
Yeah.
So you need to do a certain thing, but you also have room to play. You also need to come alive. You need to take care of your body, your instrument, to do all the things that you need to do on that performance. Things can go wrong, and it's there, it's live, boom, it happened. And also like, but then, acting for film or TV, then there are the technicalities of like, okay, some things are not real. Some things are literally not real. You're not looking at the person you're talking to. It's shot in not in order. You need to hit a specific mark while you're trying to act and do these things. And it's the beauty of
yeah, and you
art.
also get more opportunities, like more takes in
But it depends.
time.
But it depends, because then you don't know if, like, time is money, and sometimes you can't do a bunch of takes. And also, the more you do it, then the less organic or natural it might be. Also, like, for example, in West Side, we did not do 100 takes for our dance sequences, because then you risk that you could get injured while dancing it, over dancing it. So it kind of felt like, okay, now or never. Each take needs to be perfect, because this could be forever. That was that was a little stressful, but it was incredible. It was,
filming it, that like it's gonna be one of those classic movies, because the original West Side Story has stuck around for ages. So this is gonna stick around for ages.
I hope. It felt like, even if it's not it's film. It's there forever.
Yeah.
Period. Doesn't matter if it's like the biggest blockbuster, the biggest masterpiece, that it's just there forever, because it's on film and been released to the public. So whatever happened on that day, it's what it is forever. Like, I try to not think about it too much, because I'm like, I think I'm early in that count, but I'm like, that's fine.
No one, but like, if you're like 0.2 seconds off in your mind, no one but you notices, because performers are like such perfectionists. They're like, it's crazy. And I'm like, performers have come up to me like after shows and been like, are you sure I was good in this scene? Like, I felt off in this scene. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's so crazy how it feels is not the same as what it comes, how it comes out, how it comes through, what reads or what doesn't. It's
I mean, I'm just amazed by y'all's talent. So
thank you. You're so kind. My God, thank you.
Always, by every performer, like, y'all are
yeah.
Speaking of that, how did you work on, I know dance was a first for you, because your resume has a ton of dance on it, and I want to get into what an associate choreographer is later, because I interviewed another associate choreographer about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So growing up, how did you work on becoming a well-rounded performer?
I would say that it was by experiencing many other aspects of life. I think that, to me, is what like a well-rounded performer is. It's because a performer is someone who's, bringing, and I'm including like acting and dance, all this, right? And performance, right? And performer. You're gonna connect with the audience members. You're telling stories that may have happened, may not, maybe like very truthful, maybe, you're always trying to just act, truthfully under imaginary circumstances. But I think by being open to exploring many like disciplines, many different just things in general, like I said, I used to dance, but then I did it on and off, because I was also like, I remember I was like part of the scientific club, and I was also in a music band. I played the clarinet, but I also wanted to do like this other, like a bunch of things. I did Hapkido very briefly, but it was just those experiences, meeting new people, being in different environments. I think that really helps us as performers to be able to create a bigger, like a more well-rounded like repertoire of what we'll be able to portray or share, I think.
And then when you do like character studies and character breakdowns for roles you get cast in, you like understand those characters a little better by having your life experiences, probably.
Yeah, exactly. It's also even like just being able to see different points of view, to have and develop a little bit of that empathy of okay, what it is to be in this person's shoes, you know, or to see, yeah, just that, to see the world from another point of view. Like, for example, now as an adult, I then moved here. Between gigs, I used to be a server. And so I was a waitress. I worked at 3 restaurants. And that was a whole other like ballgame. There were skills that were needed to be developed to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things that I learned actually while being a waitress was to like observe people and to see how people act, how they interact, how they like talk to you, how even if sometimes it wasn't nice, it was just nice to interact with people.
Yeah.
Because then you, in a way, like just build these characters in your head. You just have those people for future roles, projects, or things. I think they serve as inspiration. Every experience that you have.
Every experience you have is different. My dog broke back in here.
I saw. I was like, Angel.
I don't know how she broke back in here.
I saw her. She sneaked in. She was super quiet. She was like, hey, I'm back here. Hey.
Hello. I'm not here. You don't hear me. She's such a little, she's an angel, but also.
She's an angel. She's a devil sometimes.
Yeah, but also she's a devil.
She's living her best life. She's just living her best life. She's great.
Exactly. So I want to talk about your dance experience, because when did you, I mean, you're obviously an exceptional, amazing dancer. When did you realize that you could dance and you weren't just like average at it? That like you could like hit marks, that you were like really, really good at it and picked it up well?
Wow. I think because that is very specific. Like that feeling, one could be like incredible at something and not have that feeling of like, I feel great at this thing that I do well. I think the moment for that happened when I was in Dancing with the Stars Panamá, and I was being evaluated for it. You know, I was the professional dancer, so I was not the one, like technically not the one being judged, but it was my responsibility to like teach someone who was not a dancer how to dance this very specific dance style, how to, you know, guide this person, coach this person. It involves a lot. Again, that experience, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason, because I think that right there was one of the biggest and my first experience that helped me understand what like an associate choreographer would need. Now, choreographing is not something that I aspired to do because that is a very specific skill set. So, that I don't think I had to choreograph. That is very specific. And I think people who choreograph are very gifted. My dreams lie elsewhere. But that, like, I don't know, just being there in charge of someone's journey with dance was the first time that I felt like, okay, I am good at this. I can do this. I feel confident enough that I can, you know, do this week after week. And even then, I remember, even with this feeling and almost this confidence that you have to build for yourself so that you can share it with your partner, you know, who is terrified. You know, we feel nerves
for the first time, really.
on national television. Like that is hard. That's hard.
I would be petrified.
Yes, like I remember that. Just telling you this now, I remember the feeling of like being on stage after you've rehearsed for a full week, and then it's like, okay, we're on. The nerves, the adrenaline that sometimes don't let you like move, but then you just start doing it and the muscle memory kicks in and all those things. That is like a whole ball game, and a whole other ball game is the saying. And yeah, I would say that's a time that I felt that I was like, I can do this. I think I'm good at this. Yeah.
And it's like no pressure, like you're also being scored too.
Oh yeah, no pressure. No pressure.
So like you're like helping this person learn how to dance, helping them build their confidence, helping them feel good at dancing, learning how they learn. Like,
exactly. Learning, that's so important. Not a lot of people think about that, learning how they learn, because that is,
yeah.
we all learn in different ways. And then like to translate that into like, yeah, it's, and I felt terrible on the first season. We were eliminated after a duel. So like the way it worked in Panama is that like the bottom two couples do a duel. And so then the judges, the bottom two with like voting and stuff.
Yeah.
And they do a duel to the same 30-second song, boom, boom, boom. And the judges get to pick which couple stays. And on that night, I had over choreographed our duel dance. It was too complicated. My partner was nervous. He forgot. I could not guide him to bring it back. Then our costumes got like tangled. We couldn't even fit. It was the perfect storm of everything horrible that could happen on stage. And we were sent home. And that stuck with me. I just like learned so much, because the next year it was like, okay, got more prepared. I just, you know, you learn, you live, you learn, and hopefully it'll.
I mean, but you taught people how to dance. Like that's something that not many people can successfully do, is teach people how to dance and hit like their marks, find the beat in the music. Like
yeah. And
learn
confidence.
How to count. Yeah, learn how to count. I would never be able to do that. Oh my gosh. It takes a certain talent.
Well, thank you for that compliment.
I mean, it does. It's true. So you went to New York Film Academy.
Yes.
How did you pick that school? What came into picking that school? And what did you learn there? You were an associate choreographer for 2 shows, Carousel and Chess.
Yes.
So I assume you learned a lot of valuable things.
I definitely did. So it's funny because the way I picked that school was not how it would normally be done. It kind of chose me. It kind of, I was, this is crazy, but I was driving by this huge, what's the name? It's Centro Convenciones. It's like a convention center. It's this huge place. And I saw this banner on the outside that said like school fair or something like that. Not literally school fair. I'm translating it poorly, but I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I have time to spare. Maybe I should go in and see what's up. And so I went looking for schools abroad for musical theater, for acting, for film, TV, all these things. And the only school that was there that had a program in musical theater and acting for film was the New York Film Academy. Boom, no brainer, done.
I mean, it's a sign.
It was a sign. Like it was, yeah. And I knew that I wanted to go to New York because that's where, you know, Broadway is. So I was like, that's where I want to go. And that's how it happened. I did a 2-year conservatory. That's also a thing. I wanted to do a conservatory of 2 years rather than like an MFA or, you know, I already had done 4 years of structural architecture. I have a degree. I was like, I do not have 4 more years. I am already 4 years older. I'm old.
You're like, I just want to go to school and learn what I'm learning and no electives, no, just like take the classes that I need to take to graduate in this.
Yeah, I wanna do this. I want to learn it as fast as possible, as intensively as, not as fast as possible, but as intensely as possible, so that I can go out in the real world as soon as possible.
Yes, because like you learn by doing.
That too, exactly, that too. I believe education is very important. I was a little traumatized by Jennifer Lawrence winning an Oscar at like age 21. And I was like, okay, I'm already 23. I'm already late.
I mean, too, I was like, I think about that way too much. I'm like, oh my God, like Olivia Rodrigo is like selling out stadiums at like 18.
Yeah, I know, but we can't do that. Like I know I just said it because we think that, you know, we think that we're like, well, I should be doing this by blah age. The truth is that like, no, each person has their own journey. Everyone, it's not all like step by step and this is how you do it. No, like it doesn't always work like, and then you go and you do not a regional da da da, and then you do and then you do Broadway, and then you da da da. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. Sometimes some people are like, okay, and I haven't graduated and I have to leave my university to go be on Broadway. I'm like, great. Great.
I mean, you learn yourself better as you grow up too. Like 23, you were saying 23 is still young.
It's young. Yes, that's correct.
It's like you're still learning. You're still growing up. You're still like, am I really 23? What is happening? How do I go out and handle this world by myself?
Yeah, that is another huge thing that some people don't think about. And it kind of comes with the territory. It's things that I've gotten to see in friends that are very like up there and very successful, and how their lives just change at a very young age. And it's like, this is like Rachel Zegler, who is Maria in West Side Story. Like she's a star. She's 20. Like she's turning 21 this year. But they are different journeys, like where everyone's different. And I think that's very important to know. I think we know, but like to actually process it, because it's hard. Whenever I'm asked like, okay, so what would you tell your younger self? I'm always like, okay, it's weird because I tell that to my current self, but it's like, you cannot try to be like someone else. Sounds easy, sounds very simple to just be yourself. However, it's tricky because we fall into comparisons so often because of social media. We have so much access to it and to other people's highlighted lives.
Right. Like what they post on their Instagram.
Yeah.
Good things they post on their Instagram. And
yeah. That's why I really appreciate these kinds of conversations, because it's so nice to, or at least to me, I appreciate when people give okay, so this is what it took me to do that. Yes, this is great, but it took this was a challenge. It's not just all perfect, all beautiful, or all successes. I love sharing about the struggles just because it's real. We need to see a little bit more real in people every day.
For sure. It's all about patience, and things happen for the right reason.
Yeah. Everything happens for a reason.
Things happen at the right time. You're a piece of a puzzle at the right time.
Yeah. Like the biggest thing about that I'm always like, this is evidence of exactly that, is that if I had moved, so I studied structural architecture. During those 4 years, I did musical theater in Panama and did Dancing with the Stars. So if I had graduated high school with my newfound love for musical theater and acting, and I had moved abroad to do this, because I was like, I want to do it now, I would not have been able to stay in the United States, because I needed to apply for an artist visa. And that required me being an established performer in my country of origin. That's just like one of the key things about this application. So I needed all the credits that I had done in Panama. Winning Dancing with the Stars was huge, because that's something that like translates to an officer in like the USCIS office in the United States. It was like, I know what Dancing with the Stars is. Oh, she won. Yeah. Okay. Things like that. If I had moved, I would have had to go back to Panama to get that experience to then come back. So I for sure believe 1,000,000% about how everything happens for a reason and at the right time.
I mean, Dancing with the Stars is like the coolest thing ever. Like, I know it's not the one that I see on ABC, but like, yeah, still, no. I love that it's in so many countries.
Yeah.
and that so many, like, it's virtually the same in most places, I think. Kind
I
of
think, I mean,
same
there are
aspects,
different
same aspects.
versions, and yeah,
I think they do it in Australia too, and I don't know. I think strictly in the UK
strictly,
it's kind of like Dancing with the Stars. It's just a little like it's like kind of its own name,
yeah,
but the
yeah,
ballroom is like kind of the same.
yeah.
If someone asked you to do Dancing with the Stars here, like in LA, what would you say? Would you like say yes, or would that be something you'd want to go back to and try again?
As a professional dancer or as a star?
Either.
As a star, yes. As a professional dancer, absolutely not. I would not be able to stand next to every dancer. No, the dancers in Dancing with Stars here have been ballroom dancers since they were children.
I
Like,
mean, I saw you dance in West Side Story, and I don't believe that.
no,
I,
thank you.
like,
Like, it's like, I'm not saying that I can't dance. I'm very proud of my dancing. However, this is a very specialized type of dancing. And like I said, like, these are people who have, like, they eat, sleep, breathe ballroom dancing since they were kids.
yep.
I am no one to go be like, hey, I'm gonna be a professional. No.
Oh my God, did you watch like the little junior Dancing with the Stars competition that they had?
I did.
Because I was watching that, and I'm like, so
Wow.
this is when like they start ballroom dancing.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, yeah.
Babies, yes,
I'm
yes,
like the footwork going on here with like these 8-year-olds on
yeah.
the dance floor is ridiculous. I
And
can't
like
even.
their choreographies, like they choreograph their numbers. Like Derek Huff is a multi-Emmy award winner choreographer.
He's otherworldly. I pretty much like worship. No, I'm kidding. But he's like otherworldly. He's so good. So, what goes into being an associate choreographer? Because you were one for carousel and chess, and from what I've heard, it's a lot. It's very time consuming.
Oh yeah, it's like creating a. So I did this. I'm so thankful. Chad Austin was my ballet teacher, and he's now my mentor. And he choreographed both of those productions. And I just recently was associate choreographer for Deidre Goodwin on a production of Smokey Joe's Cafe. Crazy.
Oh,
It's crazy. And it involves many hours of pre-production, where you're creating the choreography, you're helping the choreographer bring the choreo to life, put it in bodies, organize it, formations, help them see what it will end up being or possibly being before the rehearsals even start. So this is months of work.
oh my God.
Before rehearsals, before the auditions happen, because then you have to have an audition sequence for the show, so like after we worked on that, we were there at the audition with her. She taught it. Then we were the ones to like guide the people, and it was it's such a cool experience, because we got to not just help create the choreo, or it was very incredible to be asked for my input in certain sections, or to even choreograph according to a blueprint that she had given us, but then to teach it to the cast. So there were some times that, like, I'm talking about like Smokey Joe's Cafe. This is the latest one I've done.
Yeah.
Because Deidre was director choreographer, she had to do double duty, and we had a very short period of time. So then at times I was in charge with the assistant choreographer to teach the choreo to the cast. And it was such a wonderful process, because it involved teaching it to people who had different levels of like the skill level. They were all incredible performers. However, like dancing may not have been their strongest. or the thing that they felt most confident or comfortable doing. I think they did an amazing job.
So you have to help them feel confident, like you do
exactly.
like you did with someone on like Dancing with the Stars.
Exactly. And now it was that, but with 10 people. Yeah. So each person has their own journey. They have their own tracks. Then also taking notes, seeing the number, giving notes, knowing how to approach people to give notes, how to help them get where they need to be. It was so rewarding because at the end of the process, you create a beautiful relationship with the cast. You are someone who's been with them through this whole journey. It's really, really specific and really special. You are part of the production in a special way. You're very involved with the cast, but also involved with the creative team. So it's a wonderful world to live in. I'm so thankful for that experience because I was able to not just do everything that I just said, but I got to witness their singing auditions. And that's where I felt so inspired by them as performers. I learned from them, from their auditions, from, just watching them walk in the room, do their thing. And realize how many blocks in my mind I've created, being like, oh, my hair needs to look a certain way, like things that don't matter, right? How we sometimes think like, I need to hit this note for it to be a great audition. Not true. No. There is something that is within us individually that will bring that like wow factor. And I still don't know what the word is that I'm trying to look for, because it's not a wow factor. Whenever we think about that, it sounds flashy. I'm talking about something.
It's like magic, kind of, in a way. Yeah, it's like magic.
That we are in sync, because that's the word that I've been thinking. Just like, it's like a little magic from within.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That to me is something that I keep as a mantra. Just like, you need to just be yourself. Like, and it sounds so cheesy, but it's so important. We have to unapologetic, blah, 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 blah. Have to be myself unapologetically.
Yes.
Oh my God. Unapologetically myself. Ourselves. Like, it's when we try to be like someone else, then our magic is gone.
Yeah, then it's like fake. It's like you're not showing your potential.
Exactly.
You're not showing your potential. And I'm sure as an associate choreographer, also people are so thankful that someone has like taught them how to dance for the show. And sometimes I'm sure people are like, how did this person teach me how to dance?
Yeah, and I think we all have those experiences, even if it's just like, wow, this person, I don't know, the energy that this person had while they were doing this, while they were talking to me, while I saw them dance, and I saw, oh, wait, so I could do it this way. I could be more free. I could let loose. It's all things that I love to experience inspiration through people. Just like being inspired by people. I love that.
I'm constantly inspired by people. Like, just listening to people talk about their journeys and different journeys is the most inspiring thing to me.
Same. Like, I agree with that so much.
It's very cool. It's very cool. So I want to talk about West Side Story, because you've been a part of several productions of West Side Story before you got cast in the movie. So you were a part of it at Paper Mill Playhouse, at Signature Theater, and you were a swing on Broadway. For the revival, which I am so sad. I wanted to see it so badly. I interviewed Shireen,
yeah.
I was like, I want to come see you, and then I saw the Broadway World article, and I was like, no!
I am so sorry that you missed it. I think there might be a bootleg
somewhere, but I heard it was wonderful. What keeps you wanting to go back to a show like West Side Story? What's magical about that show? And what keeps that show fresh for you?
That is such a good question. I think West Side is a masterpiece. It's so beautiful, so relevant, so challenging to do. And above all, it brings me pride because I can share who I am in my culture. Yeah, I can be myself on stage. I can portray someone like me, someone who has a similar story or who comes from Latin America. That is very important because we don't have that many stories. And to have one that centers around the experience of Latinx people and have it be such a successful classic show is the biggest gift. Yeah. Yeah.
And have such a stunning soundtrack to have.
Yeah. I mean, the score. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's all of it. All of it it's a gift for the senses, for the soul, for the mind. It's for the body to dance the choreography, either the Jerome Robbins or the Justin Peck's choreography. I wish I could dance that every single day. Yeah, every single day.
Oh my goodness, shout out. I would watch, I would be like stunned and be like, that my body could dance like that. Because I can't, I'm very not great at dancing. Not great.
I think we sometimes need to stop thinking about like, I'm not saying that you're like, oh, I just said I'm not great at dancing. I just think that we sometimes not allow ourselves to like experience something because we are worried about how it might,
how we look doing it, maybe.
Yes, how it will look. It's like learning a language. It's like, oh, I'm scared of sounding weird, and but that's why I always kind of like, I think about this a lot, how I not envy, but a little bit envy, like kids, like little kids who just try things without the I don't know, the weight and responsibility of like, am I going to be great at this?
They don't have Instagram in front of them to compare themselves to everyone who they follow on their timeline.
Exactly. I'm going to do this. Do I enjoy it? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. I had the West Side Story for the movie, the dance audition. And there was this girl who was a singer, but like she could sing. And she was at the dance audition, and the dance audition was complicated. It was complex. And there was this whole section in which like turn, like it was a whole thing. And she skipped it, did her own thing. She was living her best life, like literally living her best life. And I have the image tattooed in my brain. The huge room. I was in this corner. The people were dancing here. She was dancing. And on the other side of the room was the table with the creatives, and Cindy Tolan, the casting director, was there, and she was like clapping from the other side of the room. It was a huge room. It was in the Miami City Ballet like building.
She went for it.
She was like, I love her. Because it was that inner magic. It was not about the step. It was something that she's like, I'm enjoying this. I love it. I'm going to show you what I'll do with it.
Hey, I mean, no shame. That's actually really amazing.
Yes, it is.
And it's like, it shows you that I guess you can do anything, no matter like if you put your mind to it, you can do anything.
Yeah.
Even if you have doubts.
Exactly. It's also about like enjoying it. If you're enjoying it,
you got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing, is to enjoy it. Because people know if you're enjoying it. People who are watching you know if you're enjoying it.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just started an adult gymnastics class like in August of this year.
Yeah.
And I used to do competitive gymnastics as a child, and it's like so much more fun and so much easier to learn things when you're just doing it because you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
And like there's no added pressure to compete. Like I'm just learning skills and trying to throw skills. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that.
Yeah, exactly like that.
So what is your favorite thing about the show West Side Story? What do you think keeps it relevant year after year after year?
Sadly, is the way our world has not, I don't know, accepted how we as a humanity have not accepted each other as just humans.
So
We are still so divided. We're still not listening to each other. We're still letting small things separate us. Hatred, discrimination, racism, those things are still sadly incredibly relevant as they are today, as they were 64 years ago. Now five, this is 65 years ago.
insane to me how like something as easy as like peace can't be, it's like
Yeah.
peace and everyone getting along
Yeah.
can't be solved. Like there's always those like people trapped in middle school, trapped in high school, who are
Yes.
like, I gotta be a bully to survive. And it's like, no, please drop that.
Yeah, there's so much. There's, when power, politics, money come into play, like it's very complicated. But I'm not even talking about like those huge, that's huge, but just as how we interact with normal people at the grocery store, at anywhere. It's, yeah, that's why I think it's just sadly still so relevant. And I am so thankful that it's being done again, that
Yeah.
it keeps being relevant, just because it's out there. That message is still out there. It is still being shared through art, which people interpret art in different ways. So if we are able to touch lives or get someone to think about this, talk about this subject, I think we would have done something good.
Yes. So how is a rehearsal process for a movie different from the rehearsal process for a show on stage? Because I'm sure there's differences.
Well, I would say that the biggest thing is that it felt very much like rehearsals for stage. However, then Steven Spielberg would come with his iPhone to like set up shots, and then he's like, "Okay, this is okay."
Yeah, okay, this is a little different.
This is a little different. So it was it was really fun to see how that side of it worked. How, because we worked really hard on doing the whole number and doing the
Yeah.
choreo, learning it, doing it, but then how it was like, okay, we're gonna do this section, cut, we're gonna go to this other place because we're not gonna, according to the storyboard, we're gonna be switching to this location, we're gonna go the space. So it was odd but fun to feel that like movie magic of, okay, here it doesn't feel normal, but when you see it, it's gonna all come together and be one consecutive thing.
And in your mind, you're probably like already like pre-imagining it, and you're like, "How is this gonna work?" Like, I can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
what was your reaction when you heard? Did you know going into the audition process that Steven Spielberg was gonna be involved?
Yeah.
Okay, so did that add any pressure? Or like how did you go in calm, how did you prepare yourself to go into that audition process knowing Steven Spielberg, like this guy who has worked on a ton of huge movies that famous movies everyone knows, is going to be in charge of this movie?
I mean, he Jurassic Park is my favorite movie. I don't even know how to properly and maybe more normally say how much admiration I have for this man and the worlds that he has created on screen.
Right.
So to have him direct the movie and know that I was auditioning for that, it was just like, I have to be a part of this. Not only because I wanted so badly to be able to tell this story, because like tell the story of my people, like to tell,
Yes.
I do this, like I speak the language, this is my experience, this is like our people. I don't even know how to say it without being just so emotional about it. But it's I just wanted the opportunity to be able to portray truthfully someone who is from Latin America. Representation was such a huge, that was so important. I was just so, I wanted to have the opportunity to be that person, be a part of it, to be a shark girl. The fact that I got to be featured as Luz was life-changing and a dream come true. But
when did you learn about that you were going to be featured, like a featured dancer?
Well, when I got the call, I mean, when I was auditioning for it, there were sides that had, it was Luz and Rosalia were the two featured like shark ladies who would be featured, and had lines and scenes, and along with Maria and Anita, and that was that you knew from the audition. So when I got the call, like a year after I said my very first audition, it was a year-long process.
Oh my goodness.
Got the call and they were like, yes, and you're gonna be Luz and you're gonna be featured. Like they told me all that that was a plan. I didn't know to what extent, or I didn't see the storyboard, so I did not know that we were, what was gonna happen actually. But yeah, I knew that I wanted to be Luz or Rosalia because of what I had read on the script.
Wow. What was your like initial, who did you call first when you got the role?
I called my mom, and then I called because I called my mom at work, called my dad. And I called my mom and she was like, oh my God, did you call your dad? I was like, no, I called you. And then I called him and he was like, oh, well, did you call your mom? I should have called them both at the same time.
Just like a huge group, when you accidentally like press the FaceTime thing while you're group texting someone. Oh my God. I've done that so many times and it's like mortifying. And I'm like, hey, shoot, how do I close out of this like 10-person FaceTime?
Exactly. Yeah, no, that was that I like FaceTimed my friends who had helped me with the auditions and who had been super like into the whole audition process, and they cried with me. It was a day that I'll never forget.
What was your first day on the set like?
On set. So my first day on set it's the scene where we are walking in the subway. So during Quintet.
Okay.
And so that day we were like hair and makeup, the trailers were in near Chinatown. And then he said, okay, we're ready for you. So then we got to go into an actual subway station, but it had been completely transformed into the set, into a late 50s subway station. So it was literally like you're in New York City, you go down the stairs, and you were teleported into the 1950s. It was mind blowing. And then we get to go into this actual old subway car going, and like it was crazy. And then it's like, okay, you're just going to work. So this is a normal, like the scene was that we were just going to work. We were on the subway on our way to Gimbals. So it's like, this is, like you ride in the subway, like you always do. It's just normal. This is something you do every single day. You're not thinking about it. You know where you're going, blah. And you're like, sure. This is completely normal.
Yes, you got to get out of that mindset that's like, I have taken a time machine back in time.
Exactly.
This is not 2018, 2019?
2019,
this is
exactly.
Not 2019.
Exactly.
We're not in Kansas anymore.
But also be cool. Be chill.
Yeah,
it's like, okay.
Also, this is normal. So like
super normal.
So
low stakes.
Yeah. So it's like take it in.
Yeah.
But then like pretend it's your normal everyday life.
Yeah. After doing that, like it was very short. We did that for a few times, boom, boom, boom. But it was a full day, but it was very short at the same time. After that, got to like take hair, makeup off, got to hop on another subway station to go home. And I took photos of that subway ride home because I was like, what just happened?
This is
It
weird.
literally felt like I had time traveled for half of the day. It was a real full world down there. And then, yeah, it was crazy.
I
It
mean,
was,
it's insane how these set designers like can truly transform the modern day world into a world that was around like 50 years ago, 60 years ago.
yep, it's magic. I'm forever in awe of the details. I wish people could like visit the sets afterwards, after they see the movie, because there's so many details that you can only see if you're in the room, because you only see what the camera shows you. But every single corner of every set was very rich and stunning.
There's probably a lot of things that you notice if like they did like close-ups on every piece of the set.
Oof, I wish they had, because my God, no, it was so stunning. So,
I mean,
so
I
stunning.
watched those behind the scenes featurettes of like
Yes,
different movies, and
yes,
these people who dress the sets, they're like, yeah, I went and found this thing from like an old antique shop from like the 1930s and
yeah,
bought it to put on the set.
the tiniest details. Yep,
The tiniest little bitty details.
yeah.
What's the hardest dance number to learn in West Side Story?
I think.
The
I
most
think.
gratifying.
Oh, the most gratifying, I would say Dance in the Gym, because it was a whole long dance sequence. We were all there. You have a lot of dance styles like happening, a lot of different sections. Everyone was there together. So, but also dancing in couples. It was an incredible experience. I wish I could dance. I wish we could have done that more, because that was odd. You did it in sections. We did it consecutively, but just in sections. So it was okay, we did this maybe 4 or 5 times, done, into the next, onto the next. And then I realized halfway through, I said, wow, we're never going to do the shark charge ever again, because we're
You're like, I wish this was a stage musical.
yeah, so that we could have done it more. But I am so thankful for rehearsals, the rehearsal time that we had, because doing that and being surrounded by such talent, such incredible committed artists was like, I just remember that and I am just filled with energy.
I mean, I'm sure Steven Spielberg felt the same way from what I've heard about, like I've seen Rachel's posts even about like behind the scenes and like what he said behind the scenes. And from what I heard, I'm sure that Steven Spielberg felt the same about every single performer who was in the whole movie. He was probably
Yeah.
like, wow, this talent. There's so
Yeah,
much talent in the world.
it was really nice to like, and I keep looking up because I have like photos of West Side here on my desk. I took, so I'm gonna give you this. This one I took on the set of Dance to the Gym with my Polaroid camera, and it is Steven looking at the monitors, and the chair says West Side Story in the back.
Oh my goodness. And it's like the memories that you'll have that stick with you forever from like both having the digital, everything digital, like phones and stuff around us, and from just being able to see it on film.
Yeah, it was very odd to see the movie, because it felt like I knew it, I had done it, but also very foreign at the same time. It was unlike any other thing I've ever experienced in my life, but I hope that I get to do it more.
What was the premiere like? Because it premiered at, what theater did it premiere in Hollywood?
El Capitan.
Okay, that's what I thought. And that's like one of the like historic theaters that like all these huge Disney premieres happen at.
Yeah, it's stunning. I mean, that one and the New York premiere. It was, the honest truth, overwhelming, because it's like there's so much that goes into the preparation of the night, like what to wear, what, like, everything. And it's such prep, and then you getting there is also a whole thing, and then you get there, and like the photos and like the interviews, and the energy is so big, and everyone's so like, we're doing this, like seeing the movie for the first time all together, or seeing it with like audience members, to see it with
like everyone he worked with on the film, he dedicated all that time.
Yeah, and to see like that, and a night of like celebration of like, the time is now it's when it's out there in the world. It was like, wow, it was, honestly, it was incredible, overwhelming, but in a like a good way. But yeah.
How do you, oh wait, yeah, no, you go away. I was gonna say, how do you even like pick out what you wear to a premiere like that?
So I was very lucky because I was approached by a stylist, and he helped me pick out what to wear. He was like, what colors do you like? What styles do you like? And he helped me out with my 3 red carpet looks that I did last year, one for the AMAs that I got invited like last second. So we're like, oh, okay, we're doing this, and found this white, cool short dress.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, I want something completely different for the New York premiere, and loved the color, like the slit. I just felt really elegant, but the cherry on the top was the Naeem Khan gold jumpsuit for the LA premiere. I wish I could wear that every single day.
You're like, best thing ever I've ever worn.
Yes, it was so heavy. It was so beautiful. I felt like $1 million in it. It felt like a celebration. That's how it
Well,
felt.
it was.
It was.
It was a
It's
huge
like,
celebration.
yeah, it was. It felt like it matched the feeling of pride and accomplishment, and like, yes, we did it together.
Yes.
I couldn't believe it from the moment that I was like writing my journal. I hope I get it. I hope I get it.
You manifested it in your journal.
To then being there celebrating it on a red carpet in LA. My God.
Does the time in between like filming the movie kind of feel like a dream at this point?
Like now, like
filming, like now that you've seen the movie, does it kind of feel like a dream? But
kinda,
like you're like,
kinda.
whoa, did that like you have to pinch yourself.
Yeah, it does feel like, well, did that actually happen? And now it's better because it's like, oh, that actually happened. I can't believe that it actually happened. Like being in the movie theater, watching it with friends, family members, it's so incredibly special. It's like, that actually happened. But during the time before, when it was between it, we filmed, and when it came out, it was like, it almost felt like it didn't happen because we didn't see it for so long, and the wait was so long, and times were so uncertain that it felt like
Ages.
yeah. But now it does feel like, wow, I can't believe that happened, but it did, and here we are celebrating with people, sharing it with the world.
Yes, and it's such a stunning movie. For anyone who hasn't seen it, I mean, it's like the big talk of awards season, which is like my favorite time of the year movie-wise.
Oh yes, me too.
I love awards season. It's just so exciting to watch like everyone get nominations and stuff. For anyone who hasn't seen it yet, how would you convince someone to go see West Side Story, whether it's in theaters or even if they have to like wait till it's like on demand on their TV because maybe they want to be super careful about going out?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say West Side Story is a movie. I mean, I'm going to speak from my point of view. Like, we put so much love, effort, research, but above all, love into this movie. And I think you can see it. The movie is stunning. Like, it's really beautiful. And I'm not saying it because I was a part of it, but because I saw it, and halfway through I was like, this is like, it's beautiful. It's relevant. It's so wonderful that you get to see this movie through new eyes. It's a movie that allowed people like me to achieve their dreams of being in a movie, in a Steven Spielberg movie. It's a movie that's given the opportunity to so many people to tell their story, to to be heard, to express themselves. So I would just invite everyone to go see West Side Story, and yeah, just go see it whenever you can, wherever you can, because it's definitely a movie to be shared with the ones you love.
Yes, and have a box of Kleenex or tissue boxes like right beside you for the whole movie.
100%. Yes, 100%.
Oh my god. even the like scenes where even the scene where the guys are dancing in the courthouse.
Oh yeah.
Like even that scene, just
even
all the scenes.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, it's so emotional.
Yes.
It ended and I was like, and they all live happily ever after.
Yes.
Because I was like sobbing.
Yeah. Yes.
So I'm like, I want to lighten the mood somehow.
But it's not.
But it's not. No.
It's a tragedy.
Kleenex boxes to it.
Kleenex box, yes.
Yes. So what's your dream role, whether it's on stage, in film?
My dream role is on film or TV. It's a role that has not been written.
Ooh.
It's something I honestly want to be in a space movie, but like a good space movie, like Interstellar or Arrival. I mean, Arrival is on Earth, but like something that's out there, that's like Christopher Nolan, Denis Villeneuve, like that. Like it's a world that doesn't exist or that we do not know yet. I want to live many lifetimes during my lifetime, like in different characters.
Did you watch that like astronaut series on Netflix?
Which one?
Oh, I forgot what it's called, but my parents like started binge watching it, and I came along and like started binge watching it too, and I got like so addicted to it, then it got canceled.
Oh.
I was so sad.
Away?
Yes. Yes.
It was amazing.
Oh my god. I was like, it's for sure gonna get renewed, right?
And she's so good. I'm so sad that it wasn't, because she was so good. Like it was just like amazing acting and an amazing story. It was incredible.
I'm mind boggled that it wasn't renewed. Like I hope someone comes along and is like, we're gonna make this work on another network.
Yeah, I hope.
Like Hulu, I don't know.
I hope.
Manifesting that. Manifesting you also being in a space themed movie, TV show, etc. Because that'd be really cool.
Thank you. Yes, I'm like,
imagine like the set.
It's my dream.
Yes. Who's someone who inspires you in the world of cinema, the world of acting, the world of singing, dancing?
Well, I think Ana de Armas is someone who inspires me a lot, because I love to see, a fellow Latina doing the roles that she's doing. Like I love Knives Out, and just to see that gorgeous, real human character and then see her in all her strength in No Time to Die. It's like, wow, she's someone that I aspire to be like, in the sense of like, I want to be able to tell those stories as well.
I want to say, going off that, what would you say to young Latinas who want to be in this industry? And like, I mean, representation is so important. So like seeing West Side Story on the big screen and seeing these other Latinas on the big screen is so inspiring to them. But what advice would you give to them?
I would say that it is possible, and that it takes a little bit of all of us to be ourselves unapologetically, and to not be, and I mean, this is hard, but to not be discouraged by, what society may say, what the expectations of what being Latina should be. No.
Yeah.
We need to show ourselves so we can show the world the range of what it means to be a Latina, what a Latina can look like. It's not just, there's not a mold. And I hope that we are able to show the world what it is, like all those colors, all that range, all those stories. So I would say that we're doing it and we can do it.
Yes, and I think I got chills from like the Snow White casting call because I was like
so happy about that. Yes.
Well, like they're looking for young Snow White, and I was like, they're gonna find like some young star who's going to show other children that their dreams are possible and their dreams can come true.
Exactly.
And this young star is gonna get thrown into this industry, this exciting industry.
Yes.
And her dream, whoever she is, her dream is gonna come true.
Yes. 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 So exciting.
It makes me so excited. I was like, oh my God, so many people are reposting this. Like, it's gonna be so good.
Someone's life is gonna be changed so soon. I'm so excited.
So how do you work on, you've kind of addressed this, how do you work on self-confidence in such a tough industry?
I think it requires work. It does require work. It requires taking the time to love oneself, to take care of our mental health. Like, it requires patience, giving, ourselves love, and knowing what works for you. Like, I, for example, know how I perform my best at like dance auditions, but it's something that it took time for me to, okay, then I need to do this. I need to be in this exact place in the room so that I can be more focused. I need to maybe bring something so that I'm not looking at other people and comparing myself. No, I need to focus on what I'm doing, on my warm up, things like that. I think nourish the cup of the confidence and the self-love that is needed for this industry. And I think the more and it also helps with representation, the more we see more diverse group of people on screen, on stage, the more confident we can feel. But we cannot wait for that to then feel confident. So definitely it has to start within. Yeah.
Do you think
I don't know if that made sense,
like, but no, it definitely makes sense. Do you think it's like ever changing? Like, you learn more and more when you go in to auditions, when you go into different projects?
100%, because you're experiencing different things every time. You're with new people, new experiences, new challenges. And then some are great, some you do, some you accomplish, some you fail in, and then you learn from it. And it just all builds this whole artist performer repertoire that we were talking about at the beginning.
It's an exciting journey.
It is. It really is. All right, Becca, thank you so much for today.
Of course. And before I wrap up, I want to ask, where can people follow you on social media?
So you can follow me on Instagram at Ilda Mason, or on Twitter at Live Mariana.
Perfect. And I'll post everything in the lower thirds. I'll post links, etc. Thank you so much for joining me. And
thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And I will email you the links and everything when this is up online.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Really, thank you.
Of course. You are fantastic, and you offer so many wise words and so much inspiration. And
I would hope that what I said made sense, because it's very close to my heart.
It definitely did, and you can tell it's close to your heart. Thanks for watching this episode of Backstage with Becca B. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV. Or for more exclusive content from this interview and more, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Backstage with Becca B. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video, or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and give me a 5-star rating. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.